Well, hey guys, welcome back. I wanted to make a video yesterday updating you guys on the situation with Charlie Kirk's shooter, and of course they had images of him that they released, some video footage of him dropping down from the rooftop and escaping into the woods through a neighborhood and all that. But that now seems irrelevant because breaking news, they have got the shooter. He is alive. I believe he's a 22-year-old named Tyler Robinson, and there's a lot of information coming out rapid fire about this, so I want to help debunk some of the crap that you're going to see on social media, dispel some of the rumors you're seeing online, and we're going to go through this piece by piece. From the New York Post, Charlie Kirk shot, live updates, suspect Tyler Robinson's motives hinted at by officials, and some of those motives we're going to go through here in a few minutes. But I'm just going to play the video, so you can see it for yourself from Utah's Governor Cox talking about the Charlie Kirk's assassin, Tyler Robinson.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got him. On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident. This information was relayed to the Utah County Sheriff's Office and scene investigators at Utah Valley University. This information was also conveyed to the FBI. Investigators reviewed additional video footage from UVU surveillance and identified Robinson arriving on UVU campus in a gray Dodge Challenger at approximately 8:29 a.m. on September 10th, in which he is observed on video in a plain maroon t-shirt, light-colored shorts, a black hat with a white logo, and light-colored shoes. When encountered in person by investigators in Washington County on September 12th in the early morning hours, Robinson was observed in consistent clothing with those surveillance images. Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years. The family member referenced a recent incident in which Robinson came to dinner prior to September 10th, and in the conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had. The family member also stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate.
Now again, I want to focus on this for a minute before we continue with the video, because there's been a lot of conversation. You'll see a lot of the Twitter posts that we're going to talk about in a minute of people saying he was a registered Republican, he was brainwashed and groomed into loving guns and this and that, and none of these things are true. Yes, it seems he came from a family that leaned Republican. That is 100% a fact. There are lots of images of Tyler Robinson with firearms and all that. That is also a fact. These things are not in dispute. But the actual motivation and his own personal politics is something that needs to be addressed.
The family member also confirmed Robinson had a gray Dodge Challenger. Investigators identified an individual as the roommate of Robinson. Investigators interviewed that roommate, who stated that his roommate, referring to Robinson, made a joke on Discord. Investigators asked if he would show them the messages on Discord. He opened it and showed several messages to investigators and allowed investigators to take photos of the screen as each message was shown by Robinson's roommate. These photos consisted of various messages, including content of messages between the phone contact named Tyler with an emoji icon and Robinson's roommate's device. The content of these messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the area where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel.
What's weird about this to me is, I mean, most of these situations, you just assume that the shooter doesn't plan on making it out alive. But this is him communicating, collaborating with somebody else about needing to go and retrieve the rifle that he left in the woods, which is very interesting.
The messages also refer to engraving bullets and a mention of a scope and the rifle being unique. Messages from the contact Tyler also mentioned that he had changed outfits. I know there has been speculation as well as to the writing on those casings, those bullet casings, and I believe we have that as well, and I will share that with you now. So the area north of Campus Drive Road where the suspect crossed over, you saw some of that in the video that we released last night, consists of a grassy area with trees on the edge of the UVU campus. Investigators discovered a bolt-action rifle wrapped in a dark-colored towel. The rifle was determined to be a Mauser Model 98 30-06 caliber bolt-action rifle. The rifle had a scope mounted on top of it. Investigators noted inscriptions that had been engraved on casings found with the rifle. Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices bulges, capital OWO, what's this?" ? Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist!" ! Catch! ! Up arrow symbol, right arrow and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, "Oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow," and a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO."
Now, I want to focus on the shell casings in a minute because that's a very, very interesting piece of this story. But yes, his own family turned him in. That has been confirmed, and it's now being alleged by Timcast News. I'm not sure if this has been confirmed yet or not. I haven't found any information about this. That the Discord servers that Tyler Robinson was allegedly involved in were actually Antifa Discord servers, which would not shock me one bit. There's also footage, pictures of him from Halloween from 2017, dressed in a Trump zombie costume. I don't know if he's riding Trump here or something. I'm not sure. People are trying to use this to say that he's pro-Trump. To me, this looks like anti-Trump. That's just my personal opinion. Like, I'm not going to ride a... Like, I wouldn't go to a Halloween party with a Joe Biden mask if I love Joe Biden. It would be, again, to mock the person. But you can see a lot of these accounts gaining traction on Twitter saying, so the killer of Charlie Kirk is Tyler Robinson, a white boy, right-wing, Republican, wealthy family born and raised in Utah. Will the right wing stop blaming the left now and start blaming themselves? Art Candy here, another one of the worst accounts on Twitter, saying MAGA repeatedly blamed immigrants, trans people, and Democrats for Charlie Kirk's murder. Nobody blamed immigrants for Charlie Kirk's murder. That is retarded. Crickets when they found out that 22-year-old Tyler Robinson is a white Mormon from Utah from a gun-loving Republican family. I haven't actually seen any confirmation that he's Mormon. Not that that matters. Mormon and Christian are not the same thing. Sorry, guys. 2 different religions. But people are also sharing images of him allegedly in Trantifa outfits here. You can see he's got the trans pride flag, rainbow flag. If this is him, it certainly matches the body type. The hat looks similar. Can't confirm that this is him, but that would be really interesting if it was. Then, of course, you see another person saying, yes, Tyler Robinson was a registered Republican in Utah according to state records. This is false. According to state records, voter records here, he was unaffiliated with any party. Crazy, right? You can just say whatever you want to on the internet and it just magically comes true. But going back to the shell casings, this is the really interesting part. Douglas Mackey says, besides being an Antifa socialist, the shooter appears to be a furry pervert, referencing the notices bulges, the OWO emoji. What's this? Apparently this has to do with some really demented pervert furry stuff. Chloe Cole saying, sexually perverted terminally online phrases and common Antifa rhetoric. He was clearly radicalized by the online leftist spaces that are so prevalent nowadays. The left really needs to own this one. At a certain point, constantly calling for violence ends up creating it. Douglas Mackey also pointing out that the 3 down arrows has allegedly been used as part of the Iron Front, a common symbol used by Antifa that dates back to Weimar Germany. Again, this is one of the symbols here, and you can see this in this image on a shield here being used by Antifa. Furthermore, you have one of the bullets being engraved with the up symbol, right symbol, and 3 down symbols. It is essentially a ordnance strike, I want to say, from Helldivers. So again, LARPing, video game reference, smash the fash, all this kind of shit. Brandy Cruz also focusing on this 3 down arrows, saying Utah governor describes one etched bullet casing that very clearly sounds like the anti-fascism symbol often donned by violent Antifa extremists. Apologize. Sounders fans fly this same symbol and should have stopped a long time ago. Well, Seattle is cooked, guys. That's not even going to happen. This plus the very niche anti-fascist Bella Ciao song, and this is from Dan Can't Tweet. It's been mentioned and sung thousands of times in Hassan Abi's chat. Of course, Hassan Abi being the champagne socialist, wannabe communist, LARPer on Twitch, who streams to thousands of impressionable young kids every single day, convincing them all that communism is a good thing. And you can see from his chat right here, all the ciao bellas, ciao bellas, ciao bellas. The even more concerning, from David Kate, you can see who is radicalizing college students across America to believe that Charlie Kirk's assassination is justified. Let's start with the organizations on campus calling for immediate action against President Trump.
A day after Charlie Kirk's murder, we're here at Georgia Tech University in Atlanta, Georgia, and the first thing I see when I come to the campus is the fall of the Trump fascist regime beginning November 5th, 2025. RefuseFascism.org needs to be investigated. 2028 is way too late. Trump must go now. If you walk with me here, we have another sign. This is the scary part. The time has come for the fall of the Trump fascist regime beginning November 5th. No, in the name of humanity, we refuse to accept a fascist America. All over the campus, similar signs. No, in the name of humanity, we refuse to accept a fascist America. RefuseFascism.org, followed by a sign that we already read. This is happening all over this campus. So you gotta ask yourself, when you see posters like this nonstop, what are they advocating for? Are they inciting certain events that we have seen recently? The time has come for the fall of the Trump fascist regime. The time has come. I want to say that again. The time has come. That is what left-leaning organizations on college campuses at Georgia Tech are propagating to college students. So when I walk around and I ask students, do you condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk? And they say no, it's most likely because of stuff like this. A day after.
So, unless you want your kids to be doctors, unless you want your kids to be lawyers and engineers, and even engineers can get training in other places than universities, do not send your kids to college. What we are seeing right now being blamed on right-wing rhetoric, being blamed on Trump's hateful rhetoric, and Charlie Kirk's own words coming back to bite him, essentially, is the radicalization of the youth, of young people, on college campuses, even going into high schools and public education for younger kids, where essentially we're having our children indoctrinated with these kind of ideas that they have to smash the fash, that they have to fight fascism. And of course, much like the punch a Nazi moniker that we see all the time about how it's okay to punch a Nazi and then they decide to call everybody they don't agree with Nazis, it is basically moralizing and justifying violence against people who they just simply do not agree with. And this is why we're seeing this happen more and more. So I'm going to leave it with that, guys. Try to stay safe. This is a crazy world out there. Unfortunately, right now, people are still going to be pointing fingers, but if you just look at the facts that we have so far, this was not somebody who was a pro-gun, MAGA conservative. This is somebody who obviously had Antifa connections, leanings towards, again, Antifa, and definitely was not, quote-unquote, on the right. So again, share your thoughts down below, guys. This situation is just going to continue to spiral, I think, but at least they caught the guy. That's one good thing, so stay safe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Alright, and if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for being here. I do have two channels, Minimal Effort Podcast, as well as my gaming channel. I do have a Twitch and Kick for my gaming channel. We do live streams over there occasionally, maybe once a week. And then if you are in the market for a new PC, make sure to check out Meta PCs. Click the link I have down below. Use code TBO at checkout for a special discount. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.